My grandma won a poker game and just moved to Vegas.
Okay, let's unpack this. I mean, imagine your grandma wins big at poker, right? And then, 2 days later, sends this super cryptic text and just moves to Vegas. That's pretty much exactly what happened in this incredible story we're diving into today. And this deep dive, it's based on a personal account someone shared online. An astonished grandchild, actually.
Yeah, it's really quite something. What's fascinating, I think, is how just one single, completely unexpected event can totally rewrite a person's final act, So our mission for you today is really to pull out the insights from this, pretty wild tale. We're exploring how a big life pivot like this can challenge all our assumptions about age, about risk, and really what it means to thrive.
Absolutely. So thinking about Grandma Joyce before all this, what stands out to you about her initial life? What was she like?
Well, it's the contrast, isn't it? Joyce, 72, living in Dayton, Ohio. She was the picture of predictability, really. Smoked Virginia Slims, liked their coffee black and boiling hot, called the computer some kind of mysterious machine. Her house sounds like it was, modest Nixon-era floral wallpaper, kind of set in time. It paints this picture of just deep-rooted routine.
Totally. And that poker night she went to at the VFW Hall. It started friendly, but apparently it had gotten more serious lately, like people bringing their own chips, wearing sunglasses indoors, intense. Then she calls her grandchild, just casually says, I think I'm going to win tonight. And then, bam, 2 days later, another call. Breathless, giddy this time. She'd cleaned him out.
Right.
Won this special anniversary pot, a staggering $42,000.
Wow.
Yeah. With a straight flush. She even mentioned the guy across from her turned a very funny shade of red.
Huh. Well, that win, it clearly wasn't just about the money. It was a catalyst, a huge one. It shows how a single positive shock can just dismantle years of what someone thought were their limits. It just opens doors to possibilities that maybe beforehand were just whispers, The grandchild was expecting, talk about fixing a leaky roof.
Exactly, or maybe getting rid of that old menthol and cat pee smelling couch.
But Joyce, nope. She had very different plans.
Oh yeah, talk about different plans. 2 days after the win, this text message arrives. So classic, Joyce. I'm heading to Vegas. Don't wait up, Jay. That's it. No emojis, nothing fancy. And then the public proof pops up on Facebook. A picture from the Dayton airport. She's wearing a leopard print scarf, huge sunglasses, holding a plastic cup of wine. And the caption, Viva Las Vegas, baby.
It's that immediate pivot, isn't it? So uncharacteristic, seemingly. It speaks volumes about, our capacity for radical change sometimes. It's like a complete reevaluation of priorities, a willingness to just shed that familiar identity almost instantly when the right spark hits.
And she wasn't just visiting. She got there and immediately rented a one-bedroom apartment off the strip. Signed a 6-month lease.
Not just dipping her toe in.
No way. And photos start coming in. Her at the Golden Nugget, the Venetian, Caesar's Palace. Always with these different random groups of people. Her captions were amazing. Tony's a riot. Linda makes a mean martini.
That immersion, it was total. There wasn't some quick vacation. It was clearly a new life being built, and fast. It really shows how quickly a new environment can help someone redefine themselves, especially if they're driven by this newfound desire for engagement.
Oh, totally engaged. She started calling her grandchild at 3 a.m., buzzing about winning another $8,000 in a tournament at the Wynn. And get this, she casually mentioned learning to count cards just a smidge.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Said she only did it for fun because, quote, the security guys look bored and I like to keep them busy.
Huh. That playful defiance, even sort of testing the boundaries, it suggests this newfound sense of self-efficacy. And just enjoying challenging the norm. It feels less about the money itself and more about the thrill of operating on her own terms.
And then came the big one. The bomb, as the grandchild put it. Joyce just states, I'm not coming back. Just like that. No drama. Just done with Ohio. This is the same woman who used to yell about throwing money away on DoorDash. Now she's having $18 mimosas. Her poker system. Apparently, it involves never betting on a Monday and only trusting dealers with kind eyes.
That contrast between the old frugality and the new indulgence, it really highlights a liberation from old ways of thinking, old constraints. Her new rules for gambling, they sound like they're born from confidence, not fear. It's her own personalized approach to risk.
So the grandchild finally visits in June, probably bracing for the worst, right? Like maybe she joined an MLM cult or married a blackjack dealer.
You'd worry, wouldn't you?
Totally. But instead, they find Joyce just thriving, her apartment. balcony view, Pellegrino in the fridge, leftover steak, and this absurd amount of sequin clothing. And she had this whole Vegas family, including Amber, a 27-year-old cocktail waitress who calls her Queen J.
See, that social integration, finding her people, building this new community, that's crucial. It shows that finding a sense of belonging, building a supportive chosen family, can be just a massive engine for well-being and growth, really, at any age.
And she's still doing well, winning bigger poker tournaments, enough to cover rent and what her grandchild calls her insane wardrobe budget.
Yeah.
She even sent the grandchild $500. The note said, for groceries or blackjack, your call.
Right.
The transformation is apparently huge physically, emotionally. She looks younger, like she's aged backwards. Tan, hair always done, laughing all the time. Joyce says the desert air is good for her soul, and, well, Vegas keeps her on her toes.
Her story really underscores that what we might perceive as a final act can just be, a prelude to something completely different. It's about agency, embracing new challenges, and the incredible resilience of the human spirit to just redefine joy and purpose whenever it feels right.
And the adventures continue. Cirque du Soleil with a gentleman friend, helicopter rides over the Grand Canyon, poolside frozen margaritas the size of her head. And the final kind of provocative thought from Joyce herself. Thinking of getting a small tattoo. Something classy. Maybe a slot machine.
Amazing. Joyce's journey, it's such a powerful reminder that, look, reinvention isn't limited by your age or your past habits. Not at all. It's about recognizing that these unexpected chances, these wins or shifts, they can be catalysts for really profound personal transformation, leading to a life that genuinely surprises even yourself.
So it makes you wonder, right? What unexpected opportunities might be lurking in your own life, waiting for you to maybe call their bluff and embrace something totally new? What does it truly mean to step into a life that feels maybe a bit like a fever dream and completely redefine what's possible at any age?
My coworker kept stealing my lunches, so I made him a tuna salad with cat food.
Workplace food theft.
Oh, yeah. It's a classic.
Right. And it's not just, oh, someone took my yogurt. It feels like a violation, doesn't it? Like a breakdown of trust in that shared space.
Exactly. That break room fridge can become a real war zone sometimes.
We hear about the notes, the hidden lunches. But today, we've got this one story. It's a pretty effective revenge, maybe a little petty, but definitely effective.
What's fascinating here is how, common this whole annoyance is.
Yeah.
And the audacity, right, of the kind of thief who just takes stuff because, it's just sitting there.
That is precisely it. So our main character here, graphic designer, mid-sized office in Ohio. And for 6 months, right, 6 months dealing with this one guy, Kyle.
There's always a Kyle, isn't there?
Seems like it. And this Kyle, get this, smelled faintly of Axe body spray and old coffee.
What a lovely combo.
Yeah. And wore a Bluetooth earpiece like it was still, 2007. Always bragging about grinding in the stock market.
While eating someone else's lunch, of course.
Exactly, because it's just sitting there. That was his logic.
So what was he taking?
So our designer's lunches, they start shrinking or just poof, gone. Turkey sandwiches, chips, bananas, even leftover pasta in this really distinctive Tupperware.
Okay, the Tupperware is bold. Harder to plead ignorance there.
You'd think. But the breaking point was walking in and catching Kyle mid-bite of the pasta from that Tupperware.
No way. What did he say?
Well, the designer points out, my name was on the lid, right? And Kyle just shrugs, a literal shrug. Oh, is this yours? Sorry, thought I was up for grabs.
Wow. The nerve.
Right. So, okay, what do you do?
Well, this is usually where the passive aggression starts. Yeah.
Totally. Our person tried it all. Big Sharpie notes, please do not eat not yours. Wrapping food like it's Fort Knox. Hiding it. Nothing worked.
And let me guess, HR wasn't much help.
You called it. The source described the HR rep as, and I quote, a decorative plant. Yeah. The response to the complaint was literally, well, maybe he's just having a bad day.
Oh, for 6 months. A really bad day then. So conventional methods totally failed, which, raises the question, what happens next when the system fails you?
That's a great point. Because people get creative, don't they?
They really do. Is that frustration boiling over? When the official channels are blocked, sometimes the unofficial ones open up.
Yeah.
And things can get interesting.
And that's exactly what happened. That's when our protagonist had this terrible, beautiful, vindictive idea.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
The tuna salad bait.
Oh, no. Where is this going?
Here's where it gets really interesting. The recipe.
Yeah.
1 packet of Mr. Pickles ocean whitefish wet cat food.
Cat food. Seriously.
Yep. Mr. Pickles described as a very spoiled, very fat orange cat. mixed with a can of regular tuna, lots of mayo.
To mask the unique aroma.
Exactly. Hide that pungent cat food smell.
Yep.
Then some chopped celery for, crunch, generous sprinkle of black pepper.
So visually it looked normal.
Completely normal. Looked just like any homemade tuna salad. Packed it in the usual Tupperware, left it right on the middle shelf, prime spot, with a little note, tuna salad sandwich enjoy.
Oh, the enjoy. That's cold.
So the next day, the designer's watching the clock. Tick-tock, 12:05 p.m. Kyle strolls into the break room.
Right on schedule.
A few minutes later, our designer goes in too, pretends to get water. And there he is, Kyle, mid-bite, eating the special tuna sandwich.
Oh my God. Did he notice anything?
Apparently not right away. But the aftermath. No, that was something else.
Tell me.
About 10 minutes later, starts with a cough.
Yeah.
Then gagging.
Oh.
Kyle makes a beeline for the bathroom, stays in there for a concerningly long time, according to the source.
I bet.
Emerges looking pale and sweaty, like he just fought God and lost.
Poetic justice, perhaps. Fish-flavored justice.
You could say that, but the real victory lap the next morning, office-wide email from Kyle.
No. What did it say?
Subject: fridge reminder. Body. Hey guys, just a reminder to please label your food in the fridge so there's no confusion. I had something yesterday that did not agree with me.
Oh, the understatement. Did not agree with me. Amazing.
And guess what?
No more stolen lunches.
0 from Kyle, from anyone. Complete cessation. Word clearly got around that maybe messing with people's food wasn't worth the risk anymore.
See, that connects to a bigger picture, right? Informal deterrence. Sometimes these, let's call them creative consequences, are way more effective than going through official channels, especially with someone like Kyle, who clearly felt untouchable.
It really changed the dynamic. Swiftly.
Human behavior adapts fast when the stakes suddenly change,
Absolutely. And our protagonist, deep satisfaction, felt like justice comes in the form of fish-flavored mayo.
Can't argue with that feeling, I guess.
And Mr. Pickles got an extra packet of treats for his contribution.
A worthy reward for the unwitting accomplice.
So, yeah. What does this all mean? It leaves you wondering, right? When the polite ways fail, how far is too far to reclaim your space, your sandwich? What does this tell us about that little kernel of petty revenge hiding in maybe all of us when we're pushed?
That's the thought to chew on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where's the line between justice and just cat food? Something for you all to consider.
I met my dead sister's doppelganger on the street.
It's a listener's story from Reddit that sits right at the edge of, memory, reality, and some really deep grief.
Yeah, it's a powerful one. We're basically trying to unpack this incredibly personal account and, the emotional shockwaves that came with it.
So imagine this, and this is the core of it. You see someone who looks exactly like a loved one, someone who passed away years ago.
Not just, similar, but identical. The way they move, everything. It's a lot to process.
Okay, let's set the scene. This all started 7 years after our listener's older sister, Emily, died tragically in a car crash. She was only 25.
Right, and the listener was 22 at the time. They mentioned the years after were kind of a blur, grief counseling, some maybe not so great coping mechanisms, mostly just trying not to think about it.
Which makes the actual event even more striking, because it happened during something totally normal.
Exactly. It wasn't some spooky midnight thing. It was a Tuesday, lunch break, middle of Portland, just walking to get a sandwich.
Total routine.
And that ordinariness, I think, makes the shock hit harder, doesn't it? When something so bizarre just pierces through the everyday like that.
So there they are, walking along, and then across the street, maybe, 20 yards away, they see this woman walking the other way.
And instantly it's Emily, or seems to be. The walk was the first thing described as distinct, a bit fast, kind of bouncy.
Yeah, and the messy bun, exactly how Emily wore her hair. And she was wearing this specific oversized olive green jacket.
Even the way she glanced at her phone, a faint smile the listener recognized. It wasn't just, oh, she looks a bit like her. It was uncanny.
And the listener's reaction, it wasn't intellectual first, was it? It was physical.
No, totally visceral. Stomach flips, chest hurts, just freezes right there on the sidewalk.
Then the woman looks over, and the listener sees her eyes. Emily's eyes, they said. Same color, shape, even the faint laugh lines around them.
But here's the bit that really gets you. The listener felt like the woman recognized them. Yeah. That feeling of being seen back by someone who shouldn't be there, it's chilling. It really highlights how our own emotions can project onto things, maybe.
But how do you even start to make sense of that?
Yeah.
Because the listener is crystal clear on one thing. I know it wasn't Emily.
Right. They went to the funeral. They saw the casket. Logic says impossible.
Yet the image was so powerful. The description was, if you took Emily at 25 and dropped her on a street in 2025 wearing her jacket, it's that specific.
And that's where you get that conflict, don't you? Between absolute certainty she's gone and this overwhelming sensory experience saying, but she's right there. Our brains look for patterns, faces.
Pareidolia, right. Seeing faces in pattern.
Exactly, that could play a part. But then the story takes another turn, something tangible.
This is the part that really throws things. Later that same day, the listener goes home, feeling completely shaken up, obviously.
Understandably.
And they check this old shoebox. It's where they kept some of Emily's personal things, a notebook, sunglasses, keepsakes. And that specific olive green jacket, the one the woman on the street was wearing.
No, don't tell me.
It's gone. Missing from the box.
Wow, okay. So, wait. They checked, right? Like, asked family.
Yep. Called their mom. Mom hadn't taken it. And the listener knows they saw it in that box maybe last year.
So now it's not just a feeling or a trick of the light. It's a physical object that connects the sighting to Emily's actual belongings. That's different.
Totally different.
Yeah.
It shifts the whole thing, doesn't it? From, am I hallucinating to, well, their words. Losing my mind, or someone who looks exactly like my dead sister is walking around Portland wearing her jacket.
That specific detail, the jacket, it just grounds the impossible in something real. It complicates the purely psychological explanation. What a bizarre, almost cruel coincidence, if nothing else.
And the impact, you can feel it in the writing. Shook me, they said. Couldn't sleep. Brain just wouldn't stop replaying it.
It brings up that whole idea about grief, too. The listener says closure is a myth. And that grief just, sucker punches you years later when you think you've got it handled.
Totally. Even after years of trying to compartmentalize it all. And they're left wondering, was it a freak genetic match? Some kind of hallucination triggered by stress? Or just the universe being weird?
There's even this moment of empathy for the stranger, whoever she was, she had no idea. She just detonated 7 years of compartmentalized grief.
It really shows how grief isn't this neat thing you pack away, is it?
Not at all. It lingers, it changes shape, and apparently it can jump out at you on a random Tuesday lunch break, possibly wearing your sister's jacket. It shows how our past trauma shapes our present reality.
So we've walked through this really intense personal story, the uncanny sighting, this bizarre twist with the missing jacket, and just the raw, unpredictable power of grief resurfacing.
Yeah, and it leaves you thinking, doesn't it? When memory, emotion, and even physical objects seem to collide in a way that just doesn't make sense, what does that tell us about, reality itself? About how we perceive things, and about whether closure is even a real thing we can achieve.
A lot to ponder there.
He was texting another girl while we were dating. I printed the messages and gave them to his mom.
Pretty fascinating. It's about personal grievances and, the really creative ways people sometimes handle them.
Yeah, creative is one word for it. We're looking at a specific Reddit post, actually. You might have seen it. It's from You Spilled Iced Latte.
That's the one. The title says it all. He was texting another girl while we were dating. I printed the messages and gave them to his mom.
Oof. Yeah. It's what some call pro-revenge. Meticulously planned stuff.
Exactly. And our mission here is to unpack the surprising strategic thinking behind this whole thing.
So let's set the scene. You have the protagonist. She's 27, dating this guy, Evan, who's 28.
Right. They'd been together over a year. She was really invested, thinking long-term, picturing those quiet Sunday mornings, coffee together, the whole deal.
But looking back, she admits there were little signs. Red flags.
Yeah, things about Evan's charm that, like she says, set off alarm bells in hindsight.
Like what sort of things?
Well, being maybe too charming with waitresses, getting free stuff, claiming he was a terrible texter.
Ah, the classic terrible texter line.
Right. But then he'd reply instantly to his guy friends. So inconsistencies she kind of pushed aside.
Happens all the time. You want to believe the best. But then came the turning point.
His phone behavior.
Exactly. He started getting really secretive, like aggressively tilting the phone away if a notification popped up.
And she wasn't someone who normally snooped, right? She felt like if you have to snoop, the trust is already gone.
Pretty much. But his behavior got so obvious, jumping like a startled cat whenever his phone buzzed, that her gut feeling just took over. It became impossible to ignore.
That shift is interesting, isn't it? from ignoring small things to feeling like she had to look.
It shows the difference between vague suspicion and concrete, observable changes in behavior. His actions basically forced her hand.
And then the moment arrives, he leaves his phone unlocked on the couch while he's in the shower.
And the irony. His excuse for having no password was, I don't hide anything.
Oh, wow. So she picks it up.
And finds what she calls a wall of messages from someone saved as Mike's sister. Turns out her name was Kayla.
And the messages themselves.
Flirty stuff, late night, wish you were here, texts, that kind of thing. But the real gut punch?
Yeah?
Kayla referred to the protagonist her as being kinda jealous.
Whoa. So Kayla knew about her.
Seems like it. And the protagonist realizes she was me. Just devastating. But her reaction wasn't immediate rage.
No, she describes it as this weird, hollow calm, which is kind of chilling.
Totally. Instead of blowing up, which probably leads to denials and gaslighting, she went methodical.
She started taking screenshots.
Yeah, whenever she could, quote, happen to access his phone. She didn't just grab a few, she accumulated, get this, 45 pages.
That's not just evidence, that's a dossier.
Right. It included flirty texts, gym selfies he sent Kayla, even a literal shirtless mirror pic caption, thinking of you. She was building an undeniable case.
So this careful collection, this curation of evidence, it leads to the main event, the execution. And the key player here wasn't Evan, it was his mom, Linda.
Linda, described as a warm, talkative, nosy but sweet Southern mom. Crucially, she really liked the protagonist. Saw her as a future daughter-in-law.
They bonded.
Oh, yeah. Coffee, baking, the works. So targeting Linda wasn't just petty, it was strategic, leveraging that existing relationship.
Okay, so she has the 45 pages. What next?
She goes to FedEx office, prints it all out, spiral bound.
Spiral bound. Wow.
Black and white for the texts, full color for the pictures because, and I quote, if I was going to do this, I was going to do it right.
Dedication. And she included a cover letter.
Just a simple polite note. Hi, Linda. I thought you should see what your son has been up to. Best. Her name. No drama, just facts.
Cold. Okay, so delivery day, it's a Sunday.
She drives over, pumpkin loaf in hand, nice touch, right?
Yeah.
And gives Linda this book of evidence.
What Linda's reaction?
Silence, mostly. She looked at the cover, opened it, started reading, and her face just went through stages. Confusion, then disgust.
Uh-oh.
Then, as the protagonist puts it, that particular kind of maternal fury that makes grown men shrink.
I think I know that look.
We all do.
Okay.
Linda just closed the book and said, very calmly, I'll take care of this.
Mic drop. And did she?
Oh, absolutely. The aftermath was delicious in a dark way, according to our narrator. Evan blows up her phone, 6 calls, 1 text.
What did the text say?
Did you seriously give my mom screenshots? That's it. Then she blocked him.
And Linda?
Linda apparently lit him up like the 4th of July, called his sister, his aunt, his grandma, told everyone what a disrespectful little boy he was.
Wow. Full family condemnation. What about Kayla?
Ghosted him instantly once the news got out. And Evan. He ended up moving 2 towns over. Needed a fresh start.
You can't really argue with the effectiveness of the strategy, can you?
Not really, though the protagonist herself says she's not proud of it, doesn't recommend it as a healthy coping mechanism.
But also deeply, disturbingly satisfying, with no regrets.
Exactly. It ties into that saying she mentions. Sometimes the best revenge is just handing someone the rope and letting them trip over it in front of their mom.
It does raise that question, though.
Yeah.
Is this justice?
Yeah.
Or just really well-executed vindictiveness? Where's the line?
That's the core question, isn't it? She acknowledges it's murky, but maybe it taps into that very deep, very human need for accountability when you've been seriously wronged. It wasn't about causing physical harm. It was about truth and ensuring the consequences landed where they presumably should.
Mm-hmm. Exposing the truth in his world.
Right. So maybe the final thought for you listening is this. What does an extreme example like this tell us about the sheer power of carefully presented facts, about these sort of unexpected routes to accountability, and maybe about that raw human drive to, balance the scales somehow?
The guy from the next building kept writing down the exact time I left for work every morning.
Okay, imagine your morning routine. That really personal time, first coffee, getting ready, heading out.
Right, it's almost sacred, that bit of your day.
No, picture a total stranger, and they're tracking it, every single detail.
Uh-huh. A story from Reddit, from Verlet's Not Meat, actually, that shows this really chilling escalation.
Yeah, it goes from someone just being there to something well, much more disturbing.
And our mission here is really to unpack that, not just the story itself, but the psychology, What happens when someone's just watching and then it becomes surveillance?
It's pretty unsettling stuff.
Definitely. It's about that feeling, that subtle shift when presence becomes intrusion.
So let's get into it. The person who shared this, she's 29, living in Portland, Oregon.
And she had this really predictable morning routine, like clockwork.
Yeah, wake up 7:14 a.m., coffee, shower, then out the door between 8:25 and 8:30 a.m. every single weekday.
She even says she's not a creature of habit by choice, it's just her body clock.
But that predictability, that's key here, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Because about 4 months before she wrote this, she starts noticing this guy, the notebook guy.
Right. Mid-40s, kind of wiry, balding, always the same outfit.
Navy windbreaker, faded jeans, standing under this big oak tree near where she parks.
And at first, she just, didn't think much of it.
Well, you wouldn't, would you? You rationalize it. She even joked maybe he was a bird watcher or something.
It happens all the time. But then, after maybe a week...
it changed. She realized he wasn't just standing there, he was watching her.
And that's when she saw the notebook.
Yeah, this tiny spiral notebook. He pulls it out, scribbles something down right as she walks to her car.
And he looks at his watch while doing it, every time.
That's deliberate. That's not casual observation anymore. That's data collection.
Exactly. And this daily thing, being watched like that, it really started to get under her skin.
I bet. It went from just being weird to seriously uncomfortable, as she puts it. That constant gaze, it erodes your sense of safety.
She even tried mixing it up, leaving a few minutes earlier or later.
But it didn't matter, did it?
No, he was already there waiting. Like her changing her schedule just became part of his schedule.
Which is incredibly unnerving.
And then it escalated. He actually spoke to her.
Just once, right? But it was chilling.
Yeah. One Thursday, she leaves at 8:26 a.m. He doesn't even look up from the notebook and says 2 minutes later than yesterday.
Wow. Just flat. Like she's a data point, not a person.
Totally. No, hello, nothing. Just the time difference.
That must have been the point where vague unease turns into real alarm.
Definitely. She emailed her property manager after that.
But got a pretty standard non-committal response.
Yeah, basically, we'll look into it, which didn't really help.
And things just got worse. She decided to try and outsmart him.
How so?
Left much earlier one day, 8:10 a.m., and he wasn't there.
Ah, so she thought she'd finally shaken him.
For about 24 hours. The very next day, she leaves at 8:10 a.m. again.
And he was there.
He was there, waiting. He'd adjusted to her adjustment.
That adaptability is maybe the scariest part. It shows intent.
It really does. But the absolute breaking point, the final straw.
The window incident.
Yeah. She was homesick one day, happened to look out her ground floor window around 8:30 a.m.
And he was standing right outside it?
Directly outside. Still holding that damn notebook.
Okay, that's terrifying. That's a complete violation.
Absolutely. So she didn't hesitate then. Marched straight to the leasing office.
And the property manager
went visibly pale, apparently. Finally grasped the severity of it.
So what happened to him?
Well, he disappeared from his morning post after that. Vanished from the oak tree spot.
But he's still around.
Yeah, she still sees him around the complex sometimes. Just not watching her routine anymore.
And she never found out why he was doing it.
Nope. And she says she doesn't want to know, which is understandable.
Totally. So the big takeaway here, for you listening, it really seems to be about trusting that gut feeling, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That journey from just something's a bit off to undeniable intrusion. Your intuition is often picking up on patterns before your conscious mind does.
Yeah, don't dismiss that feeling just because you can't immediately explain it.
And it makes you think, too. Like how much of our own lives, our routines are just out there, publicly observable.
Right. And where's that line? When does someone simply noticing you cross over into them meticulously documenting your schedule?
What responsibility do we have to act on those weird feelings, those subtle red flags, even if the motive is a total mystery?
Something to definitely think about. Those quiet threats can sometimes be the most unsettling.
I bet on an esports team as a joke. The odds were 51-1. They won.
We're looking at the story from Reddit. It started as just a joke bet, but it somehow spiraled into this full-blown online identity crisis. It's a pretty wild look at how one tiny accidental win can trigger things you just never expect.
Oh, absolutely. It's fascinating, really. A single super improbable event kicks off this whole chain reaction. And this dive, I think, it really shows us a lot about, human behavior, the psychology behind luck, and just how unpredictable internet fame can be. Utterly unpredictable.
Exactly, that chain reaction. That's what we're digging into today. We're pulling lessons from this user's experience. They shared it on Reddit, on TIFU. Basically, our mission here is to unpack the psychology of luck, maybe the unintended side effects of going viral. And honestly, the kind of surprising wisdom in just knowing when to, walk away. Okay, so the scene. It starts with what they called broke night. Sounds like a tradition, right? Friends getting together, cheap food, like frozen pizza, maybe gas station nachos, that kind of thing. And they're watching something random, like minor league baseball or this time an Eastern European Counter-Strike tournament on Twitch.
Right, just a low-key night. And that's where it all begins. The chaos. On a complete whim, this person puts down $5, just $5, on this absolute underdog team. The odds were, they said, insane. 51 to 1.
51 to 1.
Wow. I get their opponents. Ranked number 6 in the world, this team. Number 112. And the details are kind of comical, like one player had his gamer tag with numbers and Cyrillic letters. Another guy was apparently wearing a polo shirt. Not exactly standard esports gear.
A polo shirt. Huh. Okay, so totally mismatched. And the game starts just how you'd expect, right? The underdogs get crushed, like 16 to 4 in the first round.
Yeah.
Our guy basically figures, okay, there goes $5.
Written off. But then, the twist. Unbelievably, they win the second game. By 1 round.
Just one.
Just one. And then the third game, they were just, quote, unreasonably good. And they won. They took the whole match.
No way. Against the #6 team.
That's what happened. And the shock, you can imagine, that $5 bet, it instantly turned into $255.
Wow.
His friends immediately start calling him the Oracle. And, that sudden validation, especially when it's totally unexpected, can be really potent.
Oh, for sure. And that's where things start to shift, isn't it? This small win, totally based on luck, starts feeling like skill. Our user, who admits knowing nothing about these teams, starts thinking, maybe I have a knack, like for spotting underdog potential.
The illusion of control.
Exactly. And he follows it up with a couple more smaller wins. $180 on Overwatch, 12 to 1 odds, $90 on Rocket League. So now his friends are genuinely asking him for locks for his underdog picks.
It's classic confirmation bias, isn't it?
Yeah.
You focus on the wins, tiny as they might be, and they confirm your skill. You sort of ignore the randomness, the losses, the near misses. You see the pattern you want to see.
Right. And that perceived skill, that knack,
right,
it leads straight to hubris.
Inevitably, he starts doubling down.
And then loses. 4 times in a row, that $255 win, poof, down to about $40.
Back to reality almost. But the story hasn't stopped there. Not even close.
No, because that initial win, the 51 to 1 shot, it wasn't just a personal thing. It apparently became kind of a big deal in the esports world, all over Reddit, Twitter.
They're real upset.
Yeah. So fast forward a few weeks, our user is at Starbucks, runs into a guy wearing a hoodie from that exact underdog team.
What are the odds?
Right. Turns out it's the player's cousin. Yeah. And this leads to the player himself sending a direct message, thanking our bettor, calling him a lucky charm, even offered him a beer if he ever came to Poland.
Wow. Okay, so from a random bet to direct contact with the player, that's quite a leap. But it also makes you wonder, how does this private, kind of funny moment suddenly breach into the public sphere?
Well, an esports blog reached out. They wanted an interview, specifically because his $5 bet was one of the bigger percentage payouts on that surprising match.
Ah, so the size of the win, percentage-wise, made it newsworthy in that niche. Okay.
And then things really spiraled. His inbox just exploded. Strangers asking for betting tips, other gamblers judging him. Someone even offered to go halves on future bets with him.
Oh, boy. The pressure starts mounting.
Totally. Then he gets invited onto a YouTuber's betting channel. And the YouTuber calls him the Prophet.
The Prophet? Oh.
Yeah. And pressures him live to give his next pick. Just some random game.
And let me guess.
It lost. Horribly. And the clip, of course, went viral.
Ouch. Viral for the wrong reasons.
Exactly. And the fallout. The player, the one who called him a lucky charm, he blocked him.
Why?
Because fans were apparently blaming the player for their own losses because they bet based on the Prophet's terrible pick from that YouTube show.
Wow. So the player got backlash because of the bettor's random pressured guess?
Yeah.
It's messy.
Unbelievably messy. So the final tally on this whole adventure, he's actually down $150 overall. Half of esports Twitter apparently hates him, his friends. They went from calling him the Oracle to the hex.
From hero to zero, and then some.
Pretty much. And he still gets random emails asking him to bless their bet slip.
Good grief.
So the big lesson here, straight from the source material, seems pretty clear. If you look into some ridiculous win like that, just cash out, enjoy it, buy your friend some pizza, then just walk away.
Absolutely. Walk away. It really makes you think, doesn't it? About telling the difference between like actual insight and just pure dumb luck, especially when something goes viral. And it highlights just how tough it can be to manage that kind of unexpected attention when a private fluke suddenly becomes global news.
For sure. The advice seems simple. Don't do the interviews.
Yeah.
Don't pretend to be the prophet. And definitely don't let a tiny joke win convince you've cracked the code on gambling.
It's a powerful reminder, really, of the internet's ability to just amplify things, to turn a funny little accident into this, well, full-blown identity crisis, as the user put it.
Yeah. So maybe something for you listening now to think about. If you had your own accidental viral moment totally out of the blue, how would you handle that chaos? How would you navigate that digital storm?
Thanks for being with us.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.